Welcome back to the Pet Adoption app part 26. So here we're going to work on improving the steps process. And before I even get to that, I just want to let you know that I got Postico, my server is running, my PostgreSQL server is running, Postico is on. So I got everything going now. But what I want to do is actually want to come back here because I was working on this, trying to figure things out and how to get this done. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset my local repository here, which is I'm in the master right now, as you can see in the bottom left corner. I really hope you're using Bitbucket and GitHub, Git, Bitbucket. I hope that you can come here, and if you don't, that's fine. But I just want to show you if you are using Bitbucket. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my commit here. This is actually a good lesson so that you can see how to pull from the repository in case you make a bunch of mistakes like I did here right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first stop the server. I'm going to do Control-C. And yeah, please stop, baby. I'm going to do a git reset -- hard, and then I'm going to paste in the commit number. Okay, so when that happens, basically it's gonna, as you can see here, let me just roll up here. So it says, git reset -- hard, the commit number. Okay, great. So git is now, so it's git reset -- hard, and then the commit number, which I got from here. I just copied this commit. This is the last working version of pet adoption. Okay, this is the one I committed on May 21st. So that's what we did. And the next thing you want to do is you want to clean up the files, because sometimes there's files in there you created, like I was creating views and things like that, partial files. And what you want to do is you want to type in git clean space -fd. Okay, you want to remember these commands and write them down. So whenever you want to reset to a previous commit, this git reset -- hard, the commit number, and then you want to clean up files because maybe you created partial views, maybe you had migrations, yada yada. You don't know, right? So, or you do know, and you know you can go delete the files there. But so git clean -fd. Okay, I hit the C. Now it removed all these steps that I had done previously, because I went through it first, I did it, and then I just wanted to make sure that I don't get stuck while I'm making the video for you guys and then waste your time. So now that that's done, I'm going to do a clear, and next thing I want to do is I want to empty my database, because this is a development environment, so I can actually do what I want to do. It's just out of my laptop. It's not an app running online, so I want to just clean up my database here, all this, because I made a bunch of the tables are the same, everything is the same, based, like, I didn't add anything right now. Okay, so but what I did add, of course, I was making some tests, and I added all these names, right? So what I want you guys to do right now is I want you to do a git db colon drop, git db drop. So if I do a git db drop and I hit enter, it says, no, what am I saying? Sorry about the git. I didn't mean, my brain was in git. So Rails space db drop. My brain is somewhere else. So Rails db drop, it will not just remove stuff. It will actually just destroy your database. It will literally just destroy the database for you. So if I was to go to Postico again, you're not going to find that database. Okay, you'll see in a second. It will say, look, it says one other session using the database. Okay, so that means because there's a user using the database, that's fine. So what I have to do right now is I have to quit Postico. I'm going to do, because obviously there's a user in Postico. So I'm going to do again Rails db drop. There's a seeds file, guys, so just watch me do this because there's a seeds file, and I want you to get confused in the future, and you do a migration. So now you see drop the database. So if I was to open Postico, right now, you're going to notice that if I connect to the database and I click on Thea Tutorials, you're not going to find pet adoption. Pet adoption is not here anymore because it's been dropped, both of them. Okay, the adoption test and the pet adoption development. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a Rails, Rails db create. Okay, and this also applies when you do a git pull. For, like, if you were to gonna open up a brand new fresh laptop or whatever, and you use your new user on your laptop, and you want to do a git pull from my repository. After you do the git pull, you have to do a Rails DB create. So now the database has been created, but obviously if I refresh, there is no migrations. So if I do a double click on pet adoption development, there's no tables. So I got to do a Rails DB migrate. So that will migrate basically all the migration files here in the folder called in the app. No, not in the app, sorry, in the DB file. So you just click on the DB and you click on migrate, and here's all the migration file with instructions as to what tables to create and the relationships, right? Okay, so of course, if I open Postico again and I refresh now, you're gonna see all the tables. So now what we wanna do is the seed the categories, because we have a seeds file, which is right here, and it says create category cat, dog, bird, rabbit, guinea pigs, reptiles, right? So what we're gonna do now, I'm gonna do Rails DB seed. And when I do that, it's gonna seed the categories with cat, dog, bird, rabbit, guinea pigs, and reptiles. So category.create, name cat, dog, bird. So when that's done, I come back here, and if I double click on my categories, you're gonna notice all my categories are there. Perfect. So now that's done. Now we're back to improving the steps. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do a clear. So what I wanna do first of all, guys, is I wanna improve the pet controller. Okay, the pet controller right now, so if I was to come back here and type in Rails S, I can run the server. We're gonna lose all our users and everything. And pets that we added in the past. So if I come back here and I click pets new, I hope it's loaded already. It's gonna work. It's just the server is restarting. So you need to sign up before you continue. So we're gonna have to sign up. I'm gonna click register here, and Mike Smith. And my email is mike@gmail.com. Organization, Mike's Pet and Rescue. Enter password. Password, I'm going to enter hello123, hello123. And I'm going to register an account. And great, it's been registered. The user is there. Now I'm going to add a pet. When I add a pet, I can put in, I don't know, I'm going to say Cassandra. Okay, Cassandra. Cassandra is a dog. And I'm going to save and continue. Okay, so now this, I can save and continue, but look, if I was to click publish here, I don't need to explain why this is a mess right now, because even if I was to type in my address here, I can say that, or I can say pet 55, weight is 20, microchip number. If I do any of this, and I was to just like forget this and I click publish, look, it's just not right. It just doesn't seem right. If I decide to uncheck this, it's gonna submit the form and it says please continue. It doesn't make any sense, right? So it's just, it does make sense. You can fill it out, but it's gonna be very user not friendly. Okay. So what we want to do, guys, is we want to come back to Visual Studio Code and we need to reconsider how our controller works, the logic in the controller. So when you go to the controller here, we got the pets controller. What we want to do is we want to start working on the steps, okay? So if we want to work on the steps, we're going to have to kind of change things around, okay? So first thing I want to do is I want to create some steps. So obviously I'm going to have to go create some views, some partial views. I'm going to say step 1, step 2, step 3. So the one thing I want to be working with right now mainly is this here, okay? The update. Inside the update, I'm going to be doing quite a lot of things, right? The next thing I want to be working on is the edit. The edit is very important because what you want to do is I want to have edit, and I'm going to have like this step 1. That's what I want. I want to have that step 1. I want to have step 2. I want to have step 3. I want to have step 4, and then bang, publish. Like, so you can be perfect, and I can do a validation for each step. Okay, so come back over here. So that means we're gonna have to create actions. Okay, actions are so important, right? So by creating actions, that's one way of doing it. Is say step 1, or even say details, media, blah blah blah. But instead of doing actions, we can put it all inside the update. okay, inside the update. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna like just hit a bunch of enter, put some space here inside the update, and instead I'm gonna say no, I'm not gonna create. No, I'm gonna just actually, so you know what I'm gonna do. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create the views before I do that. But just remember here, we will add logic for the steps. Okay, so we will add logic for the steps here. Okay, and inside the views, because obviously we need views, right? We need views. And so we're gonna go inside the pets and we're gonna start creating a bunch of views. So we're gonna create new file. I'm gonna say underscore step1.html.erb. Copy that, step1.html.erb. Okay, and then I'm gonna do new file, and I'm gonna say step2.html.erb, and then another file, new file, step3. Remember, underscore step3.html.erb. Here, make it bigger, and then a new file inside the pets, and this one is going to be step4.html.erb, and I think it's going to be step 4 only. Step 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are all partials, okay? These are all going to be partials. So I'm going to close all the steps here, just so we can start with step 1. Now, inside the pets controller, when we create the pet, and then we go into the edit. Of course, we get all the categories, and then it says here if pet.update param. So if any of those parameters, and then we start working on if any of these parameters are updated, it goes through these validations that we're doing, which is those things can't be blank, the costs. So what we want to do though is we want to basically, the minute we create a pet, we want to go straight into step 1, right? We want to go into step 1. Okay, so how are we going to do that? So as you can see here, we go straight to the edit page. Okay, that's how with Rails it works. That's why we have this action edit. Okay, in Rails, as soon as you create it, you instantiate. Okay, so you instantiate it, and then the minute it's created, then after it's created, it goes straight into the edit pet path. That's what we redirect to the edit pet path if it's saved. And sure enough, it's saved, and it takes us to the edit pet path. So we're working with the edit URL here. We're working with the edit action. Okay, so inside the edit action, we're gonna just leave that alone for now. But inside the update action, we're gonna add the logic. Okay, and this means that since we're working with the edit, earlier what we did is we inside the views we're messing here with the edit. So of course the edit, we can change this edit. I can call it details. I can call this details.html.erb. Come back to the pets controller and change this to details, and it will work. It will actually work. You know what I'm saying? So this isn't like, you can change this if you want, but I'm going to leave it as is, edit. Okay, that's fine. There's no reason to change it. So I'm going to come to the edit page, and here is our whole entire form. It's huge. It's massive. It's inside one thing. So what I want to do right now is I actually want to create, basically what I'm going to leave, I'm going to leave the container here, and everything in here I'm going to remove. I'm going to put it inside the step 1, step 2, step 3. So what I want step 1 to be, I want step 1 to be all these pet details. Oh man, all these pet details all the way up to here. That's what I want step 1 to be. Okay, and step 2, I want it to be the pricing, and step 3, I want it to be the media. So I'm gonna grab everything from here all the way down to this is paid part without the HR. The address, the pet description, YouTube URL, that should go with media. So we'll take it for now, but we'll move it after. Okay, so just remember this all the way to the HR. Okay, I'm going to command X. Okay, I'm going to command X that. Come back to the step 1 and paste it in. Just make sure it looks good. Okay, and remember, we took the YouTube URL. The YouTube URL is in here somewhere. To enter the YouTube URL, we'll play with that later because that belongs to media. It belongs, YouTube URL and images belongs to step 3. Okay, so here in the edit page, now if I was to save this, okay, if I saved that and came over here, okay, and I refresh, you're gonna notice all this is gonna be gone, and we're just gonna so why is that in the edit? There's an error in the edit. I know why there's an error in the edit, because we have the form 4. the form 4 is here. Okay, so that's why the form 4, we move this here, so we're gonna have to take back the form 4, cut it with the end is not here. Okay, the end is not here, the end doesn't belong here. Okay, so we cut the form 4, come back here and just put it back, put the form, okay, put the form 4, save it, and then we come back here. If we refresh this, of course you're gonna have it. Okay, so the edit page in step 1, we just moved. This is just the HTML, obviously with embedded Ruby, right? But we still need to put the form 4 there. Hold on, just hang on a second. Let's just take it step by step. Okay, so I'm moving it to step 1. In step 2, what I want to do in step 2 is I want to move all the pricing there. I want to move the pricing to please indicate is paid. So I'm gonna move this right. So I'm gonna move all this information here from the pricing. Okay, where the pricing starts here and it ends just here on top of the photos. I'm gonna cut it, Command X. Okay, come back to step 2. In step 2, I'm gonna paste it in, and I'm gonna make sure it's indented properly. It looks good. Okay, this is step 2. Okay, it's gonna be the pricing, and come back to the edit page. I'm just gonna clean this up a little bit. Just remove the empty spaces. So I'm gonna take the this here, and I'm gonna cut all the photo stuff. Okay, I'm gonna cut all the photo stuff. Cut it. Okay, Command X. Cut that photo. Cut the photo stuff, the media, and come back to step 3. Come to step 3 and paste it in. Make it look good. And what I'm gonna move also is the JavaScript for drop zone. So I want to move that JavaScript for drop zone, cut it, come back to step 3, and put it. We can put it here, okay, in step 3. Now this here, I'm gonna call it. We're in step 3. The public, the thing, I'm gonna call it save and continue instead. Okay, and I'm gonna grab that, copy that. I'm gonna remove this thing. So come back to step 2, and what we want to do is we want to put also this button here. Okay, save and continue in step 2. Come to step 1, and we also want to add it in here, save and continue. Okay, the only difference, we got to just indent it properly. Save and continue. So why is this whole thing needs to be moved? Okay, command curly brace. Okay, so step 1 is all the details of the pet, blah blah blah, right? All the way to spayed and neutered. The YouTube URL, I'm gonna cut the YouTube URL, and I'm gonna move it over to step 3 because that belongs with media, and I'm gonna put it just on top of the photo upload. So where it says drag and drop, where it says drag and drop under the row. No, not under the row. I think I'm gonna just put it probably. I guess I'll just put it on top of the row for now, and we'll fix it later. We'll have to fix it later. Okay. All right, we'll fix it later. So we have. Okay, very good. So that's it. That's step 3. Okay. Now in step 4, all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add a button. Okay. I'm gonna add a button in step 4 so that we can publish. So we can just say, hey, this is being published. Okay, publish. So instead of saving continuing, I say publish pet. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna close step 4. We don't need it for now. Okay, we're working between 1, 2, and 3. So go back to the edit page, and we need to look at this very carefully. Okay, the edit page here is gonna be so important because in here we're gonna render step 1, step 2, and step 3. So obviously we're gonna have to show these partials in here inside the step, right? So if you were to refresh this, actually, you're gonna notice it's if you come back to Visual Studio, you save that, you're gonna see nothing. You're gonna see emptiness. Okay. So over here, I'm gonna say I'm gonna add some render. So we're gonna render the partial of step 1. Okay, we don't need to put the underscore. Okay, we just say render partial step 1. Okay, copy, paste, paste, paste. Step 2, and step 3, and then step 4. Okay, so now these partials. Okay, we can't. Yeah, that's fine. So we got all these partials. That's great. So let's see how it looks now. Okay. So obviously we're gonna get an error because it's gonna say undefined local variable f. Yeah, of course it's undefined because what Rails is doing is saying, okay, well, form for pet do f. Okay, great. So we're gonna use this loop. We're gonna take f, and it's grabbing this. It's getting the partial. It's picking this up, and it's like, oh, what's this f doing here? So we need to actually tell Rails, and you know this for future projects. When you're using a partial inside a form, you need to be able to pass this variable from this here into there. So Rails knows that this f here, this loop here is actually being used in the partials. So what we want to do is we want to add ff like that. So this could be, it's just like you're basically passing it so it could be used in the form. That's just remember that. This is just standard in Rails. Okay, so if you're using partials in Rails, make sure you do this if it's not if you're using partials in a form. Okay, so if we do that. All right, so save it and come back here, and then now what you're gonna see is you're gonna see all the partials one on top of the other. And encounter syntax error while rendering template in edit, in pet controller edit. So we have a syntax error. Oh, of course we have, because we didn't put a comma here. Comma, comma, comma. Okay, so we're gonna save this. Very sloppy, but anyways. Okay, so there we go. So we got step 1, we got step 2, but we don't have the pricing. And we have all these buttons. It's a mess, right? Yeah, but what we're gonna do now is we need to create, we need to go to step 1 and say show only, okay, because like, D none, if you go to Bootstrap and we type in D dash none, so D none is actually hidden all. So you want to hide, this class means hidden, means like display none. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna copy this class and I'm gonna come here to step 2, okay, and I'm gonna wrap this step 2 I'm gonna wrap step 2 inside a division. I'm gonna wrap step 2 in a division. Okay, I'm gonna say div dot d none. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap it like that. Okay, I'm gonna wrap it inside. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this inside a division called d none, and I'm gonna do the same thing for step 3. And right on top of there, I'm gonna paste that div. I'm gonna come down here. And oops, sorry. All right, so close the div. So here, basically, I just wrapped all that inside of d none. Okay, save it. Now, if I come here, you're gonna notice that the only thing that's gonna show is step 1. Why do we have publish pet and save and continue? Yeah, it is step 1, but they have 2 buttons here, and step 1. Why is there 2 buttons here? Save and continue, and the publish is inside publish pet. This is in step 4, so we need to do the same thing with step 4. Yeah, this is part of step 4. So so d none, right? Wrap this inside d none, and then close the division like that. So when I refresh now, you're gonna notice that there's only one step. And what we want to tell Rails is, look, if the URL is step 1, show this. If the URL is step 2, show that. Show step 2. But in order to do that, we're gonna have to take this here and basically put some logic and say, look, so let me cut this, okay? Let me cut this, okay? So inside of this class, we're gonna have to say in Ruby, we're gonna have to say, right, I forgot the thing. Oh gosh, okay. Inside of there, we're gonna have to say display display d none, okay? So always do d none. Always hide this step 4, okay? Unless something, I'm gonna call it x, unless x is equal to 1, okay? Why 1? Because we want 1 to be the step. Oh, sorry, this is gonna be 4. This is gonna be step 4. So we want 4 to be a step, right? Because we obviously, remember, we're saying edit, we want it to be step equals to step equals to 1, okay? Or edit step equals to 2. Edit equals step equals to 3, to 4. So we want to make sure that when this is 1 here is equal to 1, we want to show step 1 with the same logic here. For instance, I'm going to cut this, copy that, come back to step 1 here, and what you want to do in here, oh, we never wrapped step 1? Okay. So I'm going to do a div dot like that. And I'm gonna put this logic in there. Cut that, okay, come down to the bottom of step 1, okay? And I'm just gonna wrap that, same as we did all the steps, okay? So inside this class, I wanna show d none unless, so always hide it, d none is hide it. So always show d1 unless x, which is gonna be the step that we're gonna create in the controller, is equal to 1, then don't show that. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so now that we have this logic, I'm gonna come back here, copy that, and do that same for step 2. Okay, I'm gonna do the same for step 2, and instead here I'm gonna say this is step 2, and step 3 is gonna be the same thing. Oh no, it's gonna be the same thing, and this is just gonna be step 3. So we need to define a variable. We need to create a variable inside the controller. Okay, and the way to do that is we are basically gonna say that, look, we want to have a variable called step, okay, and we're gonna give that step parameters as step, and we're gonna convert it to an integer, and we're gonna start it at 1. Okay, so for that case, we need to come back here to our private. So actually, I made a mistake here previously. We need to put this inside the private. I don't know why I didn't, and I thought it was, but that's why it's always a good idea to indent everything in here, one space. So if you see everything under the private, it's a good practice to just indent it like that. So set pet, not authorized, and set params. Anyway, so that's under the private. So what we want to do here is we want to create a, I don't know why this isn't working, this autocomplete, but we want to create a step. So I'm going to say set step, okay? I'm going to create a set step. Okay, that's how you create steps, guys. That's exactly how you create a step. So I'm going to create a variable, global variable. So call it steps. Okay, so add steps equals to params. So what we want to do is, if the step is greater than 0, then show 1. Okay. If the step is greater than 0, we're gonna show 1. So inside, we're gonna create a step, and we're gonna convert that into an integer. We're gonna convert that into an integer, and we're gonna say if it's greater than 0, then what we want to do is we want to do params, and then step, and make it equal to that also to integer. Okay, and and then make it equal to 1. Make it 1. Get 1. Okay, make it 1. So that's just like a short version of if else of the if statement. Okay. So now that we have a variable, set step. We want to add that inside. We want to do the same thing that we did here with the not authorized, and so we want to do it before action. So before action, we want to run this set step only for the same thing, update and edit. Okay, so we want to do that for update whenever we're updating. Okay, and whenever we are using edit action. For the update action and the edit action, run set step. Okay, like that. So now that we have that, we can come back to our edits. No, we leave our edit alone, but we can actually start putting some logic inside of our update. Okay, and this could make our controller kind of heavy, but it's not. It's just very simple, basic logic. So we're gonna say if it's step one. Okay, so if instead of creating a method there, we just say put a bunch of if statements. So if we're at step number one, if equals to 1, right? And then we end it here. So if the step is 1, if the step is 2, okay, if the step is 3, okay, if the step is 4, like that. Isn't that awesome? So now we're gonna have like this awesome way of being able to control the flow. Okay, so if we're at step 1, we can also add here, a variable. We can add, add variable, to trigger validation in model. Okay. Okay, so we can do that, and then, like that, or add, so like that. So that's gonna be pretty cool. Okay, and what else can we say? So we got all the steps from step 1 to step 4, and we also have the update method. So this update method here, not the update, but I mean, we're saying if the pet gets updated. Now, this here is basically running a loop for all the cost attributes with key value pair. And we're saying that if this attribute here is checked, right? If it's true, if it's only one transportation cost and the value of cost type is not equal to 0, it says flash node is saved. But I think, I mean, I don't know about this, to be honest. Okay, so this is a validation, which is fine because we're supposed to validate from the model, right? And that's fine to validate in the controller. It's perfectly fine. Sometimes, you don't have to do what everyone tells you to do online. Oh, you can't have a thick controller, blah, blah, blah. That's what they can say, whatever they want to say. What you want to do is create a minimum viable platform that works, or you want to, make the functionality as long as you're aware of it, right? So I could put it in the model, and I will, but just not today. So I'm gonna take this validation. I'm gonna take this validation. I'm gonna cut it, Command X, okay, and I'm gonna drop it inside number 2, because number 2 is the pricing, okay. Number 2 is the pricing of the cost transportation. Okay, so I drop it in number 2, and I'm gonna clean up here. So this is kind of like easier to kind of see. We have, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and here, okay, this is the end. Okay, this is the end of the update method. Okay, this is the update method, right? And over here we have if the pet is updated, flash notice save successfully, else error, something has went wrong or nothing has been saved, and then redirect back to location request refer. This doesn't make any sense. I don't know why. I don't know why we did this, but you know what? I here, instead of flash alert, I don't know. I'm just gonna uncomment this, and instead I'm gonna put something like redirect to request refer. Let me just grab this here. Let me just put it here. Redirect to Why is it fallback location? Let me just, no, all right, it's fine. Just, I'm gonna do it from scratch. So redirect to request dot refer. And by the way, you can spell refer with a double R here or one R. It will still work, but the proper way of spelling it is actually with a double R. Believe it or not, it's with a double R. Yeah, but Rails understands both, you know. And what you want to do is we can say get all the error messages, get the errors dot full messages. So we want to do a flash, and I guess we can do a flash. So flash errors. No, we have to get pet dot errors dot full messages. Okay, so let me put some space here, and then we need a colon here. Flash. So we need to make sure that it's an error. Okay, redirect to request. So redirect to request refer with a flash of error full messages. All right. I'm gonna just remove that. So end. This is the end, and after that, let me just delete the. I'm gonna just leave that like that. All right. So step 1 to step 4. Okay, and then whenever there's an update, it's gonna update. It's fine. This is perfectly valid. Everything looks pretty good. If else end. And then though, what we need to do is we need to make sure that every time the user clicks save and continue, like when the user is here, and yeah, that's just, don't worry about that. That's because we don't have variable x yet. Okay, so actually now, you know what? Here we need to add, so instead of this, okay, I'm gonna say add, okay, add logic to make sure when user clicks save and continue, we increment at step by 1 plus 1. Okay, so we need to do that. We need to add that logic there. All right. So now that we have this variable called step, actually instead of steps, sorry, let's call it step. I'm sorry, fix this, it's step, okay? I don't want to call it steps, it's going to be confusing. So over here, set step, here we have all steps, step, step, correct. So come back to step 1, and instead of x, we're going to say add step, add step. If add step equals 1, when step is equal to 1, save it. Come back to 2, and then step number, the view add step equals to 2. So don't show that. So display none means, which means like don't display it. This is the class that says display none. Always display none unless the step is 2. And number 3, always display none unless the step is 3. Okay, let's go to 4. Always display none unless the step is 4. So now that we have all that, and did we save everything? Save, save, and then step 4, save, step 3, save, edit, save. Now I don't know, like, but we're gonna have a problem here because we're gonna need to add like a hidden field. So the way to do that is to say we can basically just type in hidden field here. So we can say hidden field. Actually, it's a hidden field tag. Hidden field tag. So we can put hidden field tag, and we can say step. Okay, at step. So that way, it uses for each step. It uses a step. Okay. So that's a hidden field. You'll see it later in the HTML when you inspect the elements. So save that, come back to the controller, save the controller, okay? Make sure you save the controller. make sure you got everything properly here. Okay, and come back here and let's go back to pets new. Okay, pets new. Okay, so syntax error, expecting end. So I don't know why I got a syntax error there. It looks fine to me, but you never know. So I'm not sure why this is showing that. But here we got, so I got the variable equals to the params. So I guess I have to do it the long way. Oh, right. I actually forgot to, this is a question mark. Sorry, that's how it works. So you probably caught up on that. So save that, come back here and pets new. Okay, so it should work. So if I put Christopher here, right? If I put Christopher as a pet's name, I'm gonna, Christopher is a dog, save and continue. Look what happens. Oh. So it's working, but the URL isn't working. And that's because, I'll tell you why. That's because over here, in the creation process, the minute that this was created, what we did here is we said, okay, add pet is build the pet with the pet parameters, right? And over here, we're saying if it's saved, create those, map out those values for the costs for the accepts attributes for that we have in our pets model. And it says redirect to the pet path. So here what we need to do is we can say, take the step and make it, I don't know, I guess, yeah, step, make it 1. So basically redirect the edit pet path with step 1. Okay, so if I save that and come back here, I'm gonna do Christopher, I don't know, call it Maria, okay? Maria is a pet, save and continue. Look, so this is also amazing. We got edit step 1, and guess what? The step 2, step 3, step 4 are not showing because it's step 1. So basically step 2 is not showing because it's saying, look, always display none unless step is equals to 1. Always display none unless the step is equals to 3. So always hide it unless the step is equal to 3, and the step is not equal to 3. So now look, if we were to go to save and continue, look what's going to happen now. Nothing, because all it's doing is it's updating and nothing is happening. It's just updating with nothing happening. So how can we do that? How can we move to step 2? How can we move to step 3? That's going to be a very important task. And it's actually perfect. That's why it's great to use integers. That's why I love using integers with steps. And it's not something like, imagine if we're going like details, or we imagine we went to like, section equals section section equals details, something like that. Section, and then equals to details equals to media. It would be kind of hard to, like, how do you increment them? You know what I'm saying? So, but if we do like the way we did now, step equals to 2, it works. It works if we come here and we type in 3. It works if we come here and type in 4. And then you got like that button in the publish. We're going to put an image here, a big, beautiful image that says, hey, time to publish your space, with some logic that if it's already published, don't show it, right? So we got, like 2, 3, 4, 1. We got all these steps, but the problem is that it doesn't increment. Like even if I'm in step 2, right, and I click save and continue, it doesn't increment. Oh no, this is because there's a validation. Like if we're in step 3 here, it doesn't increment. It just takes you back. All it does, it just runs this update method in the controller. It runs this one here, if add pet update. That's all it does. So what we need to do is we need to add logic to make sure that when the user clicks save and continue, when the user submits, and if the user is before step 4, that we incremented by 1. Okay, because in step 4 here, we're gonna like want to just publish, or we're gonna want to go back. we can put 2 buttons here. Actually, we can put 2 buttons in every step, okay? Back or save and continue. So that means we have to actually add some logic here to increment the steps. So we can say after the update, this is going to be after the update, we can just put it here. Okay, so we can say if at step is equals to 4. So no, if the step is less than 4. If the step is less than 4, if the step is less than 4. So it doesn't say if the step is 4. If the step is less, if the step is 3, if the step is 2 or 1, we want to redirect. We want to redirect to the edit pet path, and then inside of that edit pet path, we can say the pet. Of course, that's our variable, but we want to increment the step by 1. So we're going to say step. Step is at step equals to no, we just add the step plus 1, right? And like I said, if you named step section, you could do the same thing. You can say is this add section, and then you can call these if add section equal details, if add section equal media. You could do what you want to do, but it's easier to use numbers because you can increment them and you don't have to worry about anything, right? So if it's less than 4, redirect to edit pet path. Take to the edit pet path, which is basically this path here. If I was to, let's say, let me just go back to step 1. So if it's saved, look, it says, look, take it to the pet path. Yes, for sure, take it to the pet path. But the only difference is that make sure that you create the step here, the step variable, to be 1 step plus instead of 2. It will be 1. It will be 3. Okay, so but we also need to put, like, just in case, we're going to put else redirect to the dashboard, and we have that in, if you do Rails routes in your console, stop the terminal and put Rails routes, you'll see a dashboard because we already have that. We have the controller dashboard. Yeah, because in the dashboard path, in the dashboard path, you can easily go back and re-edit and click on the pet that you have, right? Redirect to dashboard path. So if the step is less than 4. So if we come back here, we're gonna go to step 1 again, okay? Oh man, but we're in step 1, okay. Now if I save and continue, there you go. Did you see step 2? You saw step 2, right? So if I check this, there's gonna be something crazy is gonna happen right now. You're probably gonna be mad. You're like, look, I can't, please continue to fill out the transportation fields. I can't. This is stuck because if I click on this, I just want only 1 field. It says no, you have to continue. So, and don't try this with JavaScript in like required true, because that's gonna be a big problem. Because what happens when you have only 1? This is a loop. It's looping through the cost table and is like mapping out all these attributes, nested attributes in here. So what we need to do here, trust me on this, we need to actually convert this, change this. We can't just have this submitting like that. This is bad. This is really, really bad. I mean, like, it can't get worse than that, right? Having people submit it like that, I mean, I don't know. I mean, so we need to change this to a drop-down menu. So I'm gonna grab this whole thing here. I'm gonna go back to step 2 for the pricing. Okay, I actually made this smaller here so that you guys can see it. But inside step 2, just this alert danger, this whole thing here, just grab that. Okay, this has 1 cost checkbox, so grab that, cut it. Okay, we're gonna cut that. All right, and save it, and then come back to step 1, and under the is paid. Okay. Actually, we should create a form group. Shouldn't we create a form group? Yeah. No, we'll just put it. We'll just put it here. Okay. There's no need for form group. We'll just put it here, and instead of this form.submit, first of all, I don't even want a checkbox. There's no point to have a checkbox. What we're gonna do is put an F select. So has transport cost, and this is either true or false, right? It's either it has transport cost or it doesn't. So we can create, oh boy, all right, so remove that, and we're gonna have to do, yeah, I guess we can do an f select. So f dot select, f dot select, and in here we can put the has transport cost, has underscore, has, what is it here? It's costs. No. It's the pets. Has, I just forget how I spelled the bloody thing. Pets controller has one transport. I don't want to make a mistake. So copy that. We're back to step one, and in here has one transport cost, and then we need to put an options for select, right? Inside the options for select, we can add the two options, right? So options, oh, thank God. Okay, options for select. And in here, oh boy. Yeah, I guess we can say, okay, so I can say I have multiple prices. I have multiple prices. If I have multiple prices, I want this to be, actually, let me use double quotes here. I don't know. In the past, I've used single quotes. And so if I have multiple prices, I want, with a comma, I want the value to be false, because this has one transport cost is basically, if you select it, it means that you have one transport cost. Only locally, we only transport it locally. Has one transport cost, guys, means I have one transport cost, which means if I select, I have multiple prices, I have multiple transportation, I have multiple transportation costs. Okay, I have multiple means that this field is going to be false. That's why it's like that. And then the second one that we want to do is we want to do the same thing. So I'm going to put a comma here. I'm going to open close brackets. No, whatever, curly, not curly, whatever these brackets are. And here I'm going to say, again, inside two quotes, I'm going to say I have only one transportation cost. Okay, I have only one transportation cost. If they don't understand that, I don't know what they're gonna understand, right? I mean, there's obvious, either you just transport the pet, within Phuket, Thailand, like the province, right? Locally, not province, but locally around your, if you live in Toronto, you can only transport the pet among Torontonians, just around the city, right? Or if you live in Montreal, or if you live in Phuket, just local, so that's one transportation cost. Or you can transport it within the province, or within other provinces nationally, or you are willing to transport it also internationally. So I have only one transportation cost, and if they select that, okay, that means that that's going to be false. No, that's going to be true. That means that this is going to be, has one transport cost, is true. And then I don't think there's anything else. Oh, well, wait, actually, we have to do, there's a couple of things we need to do. So we actually have to say, oh, gosh, okay, so I'm going to have a coffee here. Hold on. So we need to say the selected, I suppose, I don't know. I think I'm doing this. I think I'm doing this wrong, because this actually should be wrapped. Okay, so you see this option. This is options for select, right? And inside the options for select, we have one option, and then, oh boy, so we have the one option. We have the one option from here to here, and we have the second option from here to there. So we need to wrap that. So I don't know why I have this bracket here. Where is this bracket coming from? That's coming from the outside. Okay, so there's a big outside brackets. Okay, and inside I have the options for select brackets. You see this bracket here that ends right about here, and then the options for select bracket, it ends right here. So we need to grab this, and then we need to, if this will stop, and we add another bracket, not the regular bracket parenthesis, another bracket like that. Okay, do you see it now? You see what I'm saying? So there is a bracket that wraps this, because you see, look, like that, look. So I don't want you to get confused or lost or anything here. It's very simple. So just have a good look. This can be complicated, I think. I mean, a pain in the butt if you're starting off and you're learning and then all that. So anyway, so you see what's going on now. All right, so that should be fine. And then after that last bracket, I need to put the selected. I need to have it selected because believe me, you want to have selected, right? Because we have to have a selected one. So here we're gonna put add pet. So we want to basically get it from the DB. The has one dot has one transport cost. We want to go to the pets table and get the pets variable, and we can access this field from the table. So we want to get that. Okay, so inside there, geez, I wish it didn't have jump like that. So and on top of that, we want to put a wrapper. I think, I don't know if this is going to be correct or not, but forget how to do this. So we add a wrapper here and we just leave it empty, and we can style it later. But I'm telling you, there's all kinds of ways to style this, and we will style it. Just for now, for the sake of keeping my sanity, I just want to be able to, I just want to be able to just get this, just have a basic drop down. And then we're going to put the classes. So since we started like this, we're going to have to continue on doing it this way. So class, I guess it's the custom select. In the future, we can say custom dash select. We'll just leave it like that. For future purposes, we can style that custom select. And I guess this is it. Man, that hell is over now. So save it. I really hope I don't have any friggin'. Let's go back to step one. I really hope I don't have any. Oh, thank God. Thank God. Oh boy. Oh, can you imagine if we had to go through this over and over and over? This would have been such a pain, And I think we should wrap this. This is too big, so we're gonna wrap this inside this form group here. We can put like I don't know, maybe let's just come here and put a div dot call dash, I don't know, MD6, something like that. And for the large, let's make it call dash MD dash 4. That should be fine. And for the small screen on a mobile, we want to put call dash MD dash 12. Take the whole screen. So let me just grab the end of this div here, cut it, and let me indent this, and then come here and save it, and then come back here, and that should be. Oh boy, come on now. What's wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Call MD6, that should work. Call MD4, call MD12. No, call small 12. That's why. Ooh, okay, there we go. Okay, very good. So that if we resize it like that, yeah, you see, that's fine. Okay, very good. Obviously, we should put a row. So let's put a div.row, and let's wrap. Let me cut the end of this because you see it's now you'll see that it's there. It's lined up properly. All right, so here I have multiple transportation costs, And if I select one of them, it's not going to auto submit. Okay, because earlier we said this dot submit with the checkbox, but now it's not submitting. So look what happens basically. If I'm here, it's going to say, please indicate the cost associated with this pet. There's always a cost, blah, 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 blah. So I'm explaining here that there's always a cost associated with a pet. I have multiple transportation costs. If I left that and I click save and continue, it's going to say multiple transportation costs. And then you have to fill this out. Otherwise, we have to put a button here that clicks back, or we can even put a notice here. We can put a notice, and that's a good thing to do, is to actually put a notice in step 2. Because if we don't put a notice in step 2, how is it going to know, right? Now, if I come back here to step 1 and I select, I have only one cost, and I save and continue, look, it brings you here. It says, oh shit, I only have one cost? Like, what the hell? I want to put for, not cost, because I want to send my pet to Bangkok, or maybe there's people who want to adopt my pet in 700 kilometers away. We need a flight, so we need all right. So we need to add the option to choose. Okay, so the option to choose. So we're gonna come back to, we're in step 1, so we want to go to step 2. Step 1 is fine. I'm saving step 1 and I'm leaving it alone. I'm going to come to step 2, and inside of step 2, what I want to do is I want to put in the very top of step 2 here, right here. Well, first of all, to be honest, in step 2, we should actually put, remember step 1, how it looks here? Please fill out the fields. So we should take step 1 before we do anything. Step 2, we want to come back and grab all this. Okay, right, it's right under that step. And I suppose it should be, how is it in step 1? It's on top of the form group. So in step 2, pet transportation. Do we even need this? Transportation. I don't know. We can work on these details later. Okay, so if we went to step 2, transportation, pet costs. So we want to put a margin bottom -5 or something. There. Transportation, pet. Okay, that's it. Okay, I'm tired of doing all this. So this is it. Pet transportation costs, blah, blah, blah. So what we want to do is we want to put, I'm going to just add another column here because this is a row, right? So maybe I can do it under the row and put a div here. So I'm going to put a div.call-md-12, okay? Oh boy, okay. So inside of this here, let me just put some space so you guys see what I'm doing. So inside of here, what I want to do is put an alert. I'm going to put an alert because we did it before, but probably put a form. I'm going to do with form group. Ooh. So maybe a div.form-group. Okay, inside of here, I'm going to put an alert. So I'm going to put a div.alert. How does the alert look like? Okay, alert. There we go. Copy. So div dot. Okay. All right. I guess it doesn't work like that. So div dot. Okay, inside of here, I'm going to put alert, and instead of alert danger, maybe alert warning. And inside of the alert warning, that's where I'm gonna add all my logic. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to see if the has transport cost is true or not. Okay, because right now we have a pet, and that's pet ID number 3. And if you look at the has transport cost in pet ID number 3, Maria, it says has one transport cost, it says true. Okay, so whenever we update this, it becomes true, false, right? So what I want to do is I want to tell the user, so look, if, let me do an if else statement. If at pet dot has underscore, let me come back to the controller, grab this because copy. We're in step 2. If at pet has one transport cost, if that is true, oh no, if that is not true, if it's not true, okay, if that is not true, okay, if it's not true, I'm gonna say, hey, blah blah. Okay, hold on, hey, blah blah, whatever their name is. So if you only have, so if you only want one transportation cost, right? If you only want one transportation cost for local delivery, within your neighborhood, you need to select. I have only one price. No, you need to select. You need to select. Back to step 1. I have multiple. I have only one transportation cost. Okay. Believe me, guys, you need to select, I have only one transportation cost. Okay? And I want to wrap this inside a strong. You need to select, I have only one transportation cost. Okay, so basically I'm telling the user, look, you gotta do this, okay? You can select if, because we're saying if the has transport cost is not true, which means because has one transport cost, if that is true, that means it's one transport cost. If it's not true, it means it's multiple transportation costs. So hey, Mr. User, if you only want one transport cost for local delivery within neighborhood, you need to select I have only one transportation cost. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. Else, okay, so else, what I want to do is I want to say the same thing. The only difference is I want to change this into some other wording, like if you want to add more transportation cost, if you, hey blah blah, if you want to add many transportation costs for local delivery, national, and international, you need to select I have, which one did we say in step 1? We said it's I have multiple transportation. I'm just gonna copy this. I'm tired. You need to select I have multiple transportation costs. So what we want to do is, so if actually this blah blah, it doesn't have to be. It could be at current user. Let me add some Ruby here. I'm gonna say like the current underscore user dot full name, right? Full name. So add current user dot full name. Copy that instead of blah blah. Okay, save it. Come back here and refresh. Oh, hey, Mike Smith. If you want to add many transportation costs for local delivery, for local delivery, comma, right, for local delivery, comma, national and international. National, you need to select I have multiple. So what we want to do is I want to click on this. I have multiple transportation costs. I want to go back to step 2. Okay. So instead of putting just like, text, I can actually put a link to here inside the here. So I'm going to cut this, right? Okay. I'm going to, let me cut this here. Okay. Cut, Command X. And inside this strong thing, I'm going to put a link to. I can put a link to step 1, right? So instead of that, let's do that. Link a link to. I suppose we can do a link to with a single quote and then do a double quote and then paste that in. And then what we can do is we can say I have one transfer and say click here. Click here. Click here. Okay. I have only in step 1. In previous step in previous step here. Okay, so we're gonna put a comma there. What happened there? What did I do? Sorry, comma. So here, of course, we're gonna go to the edit underscore pet path. The edit pet path, right? And we want to pass the pet, and we want to pass the step too. So we want to say the step is 1, right? So we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna grab that, copy, and then inside of here, let me just put enter, and like that, and grab this. I have multiple transportation costs. I'm just gonna cut it and replace it with this. Okay, so this is there. Save it and come back here, refresh. There you go. I have multiple. So please select. Ooh, this looks bad. Why is there? Why is it like that? There, I have multiple transportation, and then we're gonna put a break. Let me put a break at the end of this. Enter. Hold on. BR here, and then I'm gonna put a BR here. Save it. Okay, so there we go. Because I'm telling you, I'm saying, look, hey, Mike Smith, if you want to add many transportation costs for local delivery, national and international, you need to select. I have multiple transportation costs in previous step here. Okay, so if I click that, look, it takes me straight to step 1, and I have to scroll down. But you know what? It would be nice to add an anchor. So if I was to go, for instance, so if I'm here, actually, so if I click here, it takes me here. It's kind of weird, right? I kind of want the user to see this right away. So if I select, I have multiple prices, save and continue, and guess what do I see? Guess what do I see? I see this one, the else. I see I have multiple transportation. I see this one here. So you come over here, says, hey, Mike Smith, if you only want, which is this one, number 1, if it's not, right? If you only want one transportation cost for local delivery within your neighborhood, you need to select I have only one transportation cost in previous step here. Look. So what we want is an anchor that's going to drop us down here. So what we can do with this important stuff here, we can wrap that inside an anchor. So we come back to step 1, and what we can do is grab all this, and actually we don't even need to do that. We just need to put an ID. We just put an ID. ID equals to I don't know. I guess I don't know. Maybe call it transport cost. Transport underscore cost. Let's just call it like that. It's probably bad practices to do that. Anyways, let's just do it like that. ID transport cost, the dash. Okay, copy that. I don't know. Is that good practice? I guess it's fine. I guess it's fine. There's no reason why we can't do that, right? And then we can just, so we have an ID called transport cost. We copy that, and then we're gonna put an anchor in the link too. Okay, so we can come back to step 2, and for those 2 links, we can say anchor anchor equals. So we can put hold on, anchor. Actually, we can do this in Rails. That's pretty awesome. And then put it like that. Transport cost, and then put a comma. Make sure you please put a comma. Don't forget. So anchor transport cost. That means it's gonna take it to that link and scroll the page to that anchor. See, that's just in HTML. It's the same thing. So we save that. We come here. We refresh. Okay. So I click on continue. I'm in step 1, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many prices. I only want one price. I click here. What happened? How come it didn't come back? Oh, because we didn't save step 1. Step 1, we didn't save this one, transport costs. Command S to save. So if I was to select, have transport multiple prices, oh my gosh, I don't like this. I want to add 2 more steps. I want to add 2 more costs. So click here. Boom, it takes you straight there. You see here in the URL, hashtag transport cost. So if I select this, I have multiple prices, save and continue. Oh my gosh, I don't like it. Come here. Okay, I have 1 cost. Okay, save and continue. Boom. So it works. But so now we're done with the hardest part, guys. We're done with the hardest part, but there's something called validations. You can come here, active storage, validations, and anyways. So I don't know where to start. I'm really tired. I want to take a break. I really want to take a break. I'm so tired. So validations, I'm gonna put them all in the model. That's the best thing to do. The only validation we have in the pets controller is this. Honestly, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I just think it's fine. Just leave it there. Okay, this is just one validation. It's making the controller look a little fat, but that's okay. You know what I mean? That's okay. So what I want to do is I'm going to add a validation now just so you guys see how this is, because if we come here and we add the model, let's go to the models and click on pet.rb, and you're going to notice here, like, we can just come and do, you know, all kinds of validation. We can say, we can validate the, I'll tell you. Okay, so we got the pet description. Let me come back to step 1. First of all, we can put like required here. I can put pet age required, but really, what if I come here and I put like -33, and I'm gonna put a pet weight of 4,000 kilograms, and I'm gonna put a microchip of this, and I'm gonna put a pet address of like, you know, the Arctic or something like that. I'm gonna put a pet description of like of like 1. Okay. And can you imagine? Can you imagine, like, if someone has like a script running overnight? How would that be? Someone running a script overnight while you're sleeping, and they just like save 5,000 pets to the database. Do you want to know how this Maria looks like right now in the database? Look at that. Can you imagine having a weight of -33? So we need validation, and it's not going to be just JavaScript. You don't want to, like, trust me. You want to have JavaScript as a secondary backup, like, thing, like, just to prevent them from getting all these reds of like, oh, pet weight needs to be there, blah blah blah. You know, you want to add. Sure, I can say required. I can say required. I can say required true. I can say required true. We can even do it with an external JavaScript file. I can put it here, right here, external JavaScript. But for now, it's important to protect your database, okay? Like in the backend, you want to protect your database. Like if I was to put 0 here and save and continue, of course it's going to say, actually this pet weight required true. This is going to work. Okay, so if I save it and then come here, save and continue. Anyways, it should work. It should require true, because it's already there. It's already there, right? So I think no, it's like that, required, just like that. save it, come over here. So if I click save and continue, I don't think you can see it. You gotta be kidding me, eh? What's the problem here? I'm trying not to waste any time. I don't have any time. I don't have any time at all. Anyways, long story, you can actually change it right here in the DOM. You can inspect the element and say required false and remove the required, and then you can just enter it. So please, guys, so come back to the model. Let's get to the meat and potatoes here. Okay, we get in the meat and potatoes. We have validation of a description, pet description. I want to validate, first of all, pet description has to be meaningful. It's going to be over 500 characters. Pet address needs to be there, pet age, pet weight. Okay, so I'm gonna go one by one. Numericality is numericality. So right here, I just want you to know where you can get this information. Command F, numericality. You just come here, and I'm gonna just grab it from here. Okay, I'm gonna grab it from here. So that, and look, greater than, equals to. You can use all these. These are amazing. Okay, so I'm gonna grab validates that. Okay, so that you guys see it. I'm not making anything up. Right, validates pet weight. So validates, that's the weight from our controller, from our table as well. It's there, it's a field. So first of all, we have the weight is a number. So we want it to be a number. So that's numericality. That's amazing, that's there. That's what we want. Okay, but we also want to do only integer true. Jeez, I guess, hang on. Okay, let me just do that like that. Only integer true. We want to put the greater than or equals to, so we want to grab greater than or equal to, greater than or equal to, what is it that we need to do the weight? The weight has to be greater than or equal to 0, okay? Because sometimes, man, there's pets that are like way small, right? So there, greater than or equals to 0, less than or equals to, less than or equal to, less than or equals to 150. I don't think there is more than 150 kilograms. And we want to put a message. We're going to put a message, make it like a little nice. And then cannot be more than 150 kg, 150 kg, and no less than 0, and no less than 0 kg. Okay, so if we save this now and we come over here and we refresh this, so if we refresh this, you're gonna see that, and we save and continue, it's gonna say please fill out this field. This was playing games on me, but if I'm just like hacking around and I can say, you know what, I'm gonna like submit this, I can inspect that, and this required, I can just remove this required altogether like that, and then I can just submit it, and look what's gonna happen. Render redirect were called multiple times in this action. That's okay, but that's normal. That's normal. So this action update, we have a run, return, redirect. So you see here it says return to and return. You need to do something like redirect to and return. So I'm not sure. I guess we can say oh man. Anyways, so if, as long as it's this, if here redirect to, request, refer, and return. I'm going to remove the required here because it's hindering my my test of my backend validation in the model. Okay, it's hindering it. Okay, I want to test my backend. That's what I care about. I don't care about the front end. So yeah, okay, so I got no pet age. Sorry, no pet weight. Actually, no, my pet weight is 4,000 kilograms. No, I'm gonna just change. I'm gonna just remove it. Okay, save and continue. Look, weight cannot be more than 150 kg, no less than 0. So if I put like, let's say 30, 39 kilograms, save and continue, it's going to save. Now, if I come back here and I put 390, and then save and continue, weight cannot be, you see? So that's pretty good. I'm protecting my, in regards to the age, I can put 3,000 years old. Look, again, same thing. It's going to save and continue. So we have to do the same thing for the age, guys. We have to do the same thing for the age. Now, remember in the controller, what I did is I added and return. That's what Rails told me, and that's what we did. All right, so yeah, so we're gonna come back again to the. We need to do this numericality twice, okay? Also for the age. So come back to the pet. So grab this, okay? Copy that, paste it here. So we have the age, right? So make sure you put the validates age by numericality. Only integer is true, greater than or equals to 0. Right? Yeah, because the age can be 0 too. It could just be a newborn puppy or whatnot. Less than or equals to probably 40. I mean, unless it's a turtle. I don't know. We're not selling turtles now in this pet adoption. But you can change this. Maybe you're selling turtles, and turtles like 150 years old. Message cannot be older than 40 years old, and no younger than 0 years. No younger than 0. Anyways, you know what I'm talking about. So save that. But there's something else though. This is on create. On create, there's gonna be a problem. The minute you create something, like if I save this right now and I went to like pets new, if I went to pets new right now and I clicked Mira, okay, and I click save and continue, look, it's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a big problem. So first of all, we're gonna have problems, okay? So I'm gonna come back here to my pets number 3, edit step 1, okay? Maybe you have another pet or whatever, but for me now, what I want to do this on update, right? This is not on create, this is on update, because you're going to get error. It's going to say we can't create it because you haven't filled out these fields, and we have many steps, right? So this has to be on update, guys, because we have to allow Rails to create the pet before the validation. The validation is later, okay? Later when we publish, when we don't allow the user to publish unless they have everything validated, all the steps validated. So this is just on update, okay? On update, and then again, comma, on update, okay? Jeez, what happened there? Okay, so only for updates. And then we want to do also the microchipping too. Maybe the description, but the microchipping, anyways, I'm gonna just put the description for now. So we can say validates the description, pet description. Okay, it's the pet description. Pet description. Copy that. Okay, so validates. Okay, so we got the validate pet description, and we want to do it's the length. Okay, we can find it here. It's the length. It's the length. There you go. Validates pet title. Blah blah blah. You see that length? You see there you can just grab this here, so in case you ever lost, you forget how to do stuff. No one remembers this, guys. No one ever remembers unless you're doing it all day, every day. So just remember, it takes time to remember things. I'm always on those docs all the time, and I'm learning all the time, guys. I'm learning all the time. So so we just do that, and there, so you can just so the minimum we want to have to make it, actually we can just use minimum and maximum. So minimum that, minimum, maximum. So we don't want to have more than 3,000 words. You can change it. That's letters, by the way. That's characters. And then we also we want a minimum of, I don't know, 70 characters is like a name length, okay? So we want to put a minimum of 150. Okay, please put message. I'm going to say something. Please put something meaningful. Please put a meaningful description of the pet. Okay, at least 150 characters. Okay, and we can put here, I don't know, we can put, do you really want, okay, yeah, do you really want more than 3,000? And no more than 3,000. Okay, you can change this. Okay, I'm just doing a tutorial now, so obviously I'm not spending much time, so save that. And if I came here again to step 3, edit step 1, refresh it, and we save it here, it's going to give me a bunch of errors. Look, age cannot be older than 40. Pet description, please put a meaningful description of the pet. Okay, so you're protecting your database. Okay, you're protecting data. Now the problem with all this is that, guys, I try to make a new pet, you saw what happened. The problem with all this is that it's validating for the whole application, regardless of what step you're in. So what you want to do in the model for future, you can use with options. Okay, with options, it's saying if it's step 1, use this method. If it's step 2, use this method. So what we can do is we can create, so with options, we can actually come here and say in Rails, actually, I'll have this open now, with options, API doc. So API doc validates. I had it open before. Yeah, we can do with options, dependent destroy. Actually, presence true do. We can loop with the options thing. We can actually loop. So we can do step 1. So we can create this with options here. Obviously it's not the same. I'm just trying to get this to help me out. Okay, it's just I don't think we need all this. Okay, so with options, right? We can use the with options, and we can say if. No. Of course we're gonna have to loop, and we're gonna put x. Okay. We don't need. We can just put. Obviously, we're gonna have to create a private method. So we can say if x, y, z do x. Okay, so if it's x, y, z, do x. So what's x, y, z? What is x, y, z? X, y, z is gonna be a step that we are going to use in step 1. So instead of calling it XYZ, we can say validates step _1, like that. So validates with options. Oh, I don't know if this is right. So if with options, if actually this shouldn't say if like that. It should be like that. With options, if validates step 1, do X. Okay, and in here. And this is going to loop through all these. So we're in step 1. What's step 1? Step 1 is weight. Step 1 is age. Step 1 is pet description. So we can grab all this, cut it, and put it in here. Right? We're going to put it in here. Why is this like that? Yeah, there. I'm just going to indent it in. So now we can create a private method. We can say private, and inside of there, we can do like step 1, step underscore. No, it's something meaningful. Validate step 1, which is basically okay. There, copy that. So validate step 1. Okay, validate step 1. Okay, and then we can say validate step 2, and we can say validate step 3. Okay, so we have all these different validates. Okay, so in here though, we can get we can put an accessor. Yeah, I suppose we can do. So how are we going to use this? How are we going to? Okay, actually, we can say self. We can say self. Yeah, self dot something. So is equals to 1. So self something is equals to 1. Copy self something is equals to 2. Self something is equals to 3. Right? I know this doesn't make sense now, but it's going to make sense. So what we can do now, trust me, we can say come to the pets controller, and inside of step 1, add variable trigger validation model. So inside the, oh boy, so why are we doing this? Why don't we just call this validate step? We're gonna call this validate underscore step, okay? So validate step 1, validate step 2, validate step 3, okay? And save it. And inside of the controller, I'm gonna say at pet, if it's step 1, so it's the pet, dot validate step is equals to, is it equal? Yeah, equals, it has to be equal to 1. Okay, so in step 1, oh, but we need to add the accessor as well. So without the accessor, this is not gonna, without the attribute accessor, it's not gonna work. So so up here, so these are just the validations. Okay, validations start here. Okay, validations start here. So we need to add the attribute accessor. Let me just indent this. So attributes, we can put an attribute accessor. You can read about this in the Rails guides, eh? So we can put an attributes accessor, and that's going to be the validate, because that's what we're calling in the controller. We can put the validate step, sorry, because that's what we're calling in the controller. So this is what's triggering everything, the validate step. Okay, so validate step comes over here. This matches the controller, and it comes back to the model, and it runs this validate this method, and it just loops through all of these. But here though, since we're using x, we can say x dot x dot x dot. Okay, and let me just remove the spacing so that it's not confusing. Okay, so the loop starts here, so it's step 1. Okay, and then validate step 2. So now that we can come to the controller here, all we're gonna do is call this, and all the model is doing that, all validation where it belongs, because it belongs to the model. And we should do that here, actually. In fact, this should be, believe it or not, this should be validate step equals to 2. But I created it here because that's how we should do it, and we should do this. But I'm not gonna go through this. Look how long this video is. I mean, can you imagine even if we did like, can you imagine if we did all this here with Ajax too, which we're supposed to? Like, it should be done with Ajax here in this part. But anyways, right? In part 2, it should be done there, so it shows it dynamically. Anyways, so now I'm gonna move into step 3. Okay, I'm gonna click on the edit part. No, on the controller. I'm gonna leave this alone, this validation, because right now I'm too tired to do this on the model, but it should be done in the model. So over here, I'm gonna grab this, copy it, and put it right here. If it's step 3, and this, I'm gonna leave this alone. I'm gonna leave this alone. It's okay. Leave it alone. Validate step 3. So now I'm gonna come back here and fill out this form properly. Okay, so I'm gonna, Maria is a dog, cat friendly, friendly with strangers. The age, I'm gonna put the age is 10 years old. The weight is only 12 kilograms. The microchip number, that's another one. Actually, microchip number, we need to add this microchip number because you know what? It's not necessary to have it. You shouldn't have a microchip number. But if someone enters something, can you imagine someone goes like this? Like, and then puts like a bunch of like that? What are you gonna do? Like, and then you're gonna show this in the front end? That's unbelievable. Can you imagine? I can actually save this right now. Like I can save all this, including the pet description. Haha, that's fine, right? As long as in pet description, and that's gonna save in the database. Unbelievable. I just saved all this junk in the database. So no, we have to add for microchipping. So come back to the pet.rb and we need to do the same for the microchip. And remember, we want to allow the microchip to be available. So how do we do this? I have to rush through this. You can find this in Rails guides, but I'm going to show you how. So dot.validate, right? So x.validate, we want to do the microchip, and I spelled it wrong the first time. So please just come here and copy it the way you see it. Okay, the way you see it in your database, the way it is here in this parameters, microchip. I put an H there unnecessarily. So come to pet.rb and we're gonna say validate the microchip with the format. Okay, this is gonna work. It's amazing. It's amazing what Rails can do. It's unbelievable. So in the format, I want to use regex. So I want to say with. For the regex, actually just like that. So I'm gonna say only numbers and letters. Only numbers and letters. So hold on. In a hurry. I'm in a hurry. I gotta get this done. Okay, so only numbers and letters, and we need to add W, which is for all words, all characters, right? So A to Z, okay, plus $, and put that as well. So this should work, right? Anyways, I'm in a hurry now. I gotta get this done. I can't believe this is gonna be 2 hours long. So we want to allow blank. This is also in Rails guides. You can see it. Allow blank because we don't want to force them to have it. Okay, so we want to allow blank, but it formats with only numbers and letters. Okay, so allow blank is true. Multiline is true. Multiline is true because that's security. I don't know, security. I've had this in the past. So multiline is true, and we want to say a message. We want to say a message of can only contain I don't know, can only contain letters and numbers. Okay, because microchips, right? And now this bracket we have to actually add. Actually, let me just come here. Go backspace, backspace. Okay, come over here again. And now we need to add the length because we don't want someone to add 5,000 characters there. So we want to put, again, open a bracket again and put the length. Length, I think that's right. Oh God. No, I guess minimum. Okay, so we're gonna say, why is it like that? All right, so the minimum 15, 15, okay, whatever, 10. But you have to check how the microchip numbers work. What's the minimum, okay? And we're gonna put but definitely you wanna put definitely minimum 5, okay? Maximum, I'd say it should be not longer than a person's name. The maximum is 70. So we can say 100, okay? Maximum 100, and we want to do all of this, guys, on update, okay? All of this is on update. On update. Can you imagine not recording any of this? That would be crazy. That would be crazy. I don't know what I would do. I guess I wouldn't. That's why some of my tutorials take a while. Okay, so save that. Now, if I come back here and I remove this microchip, save and continue, it's going to save because we allow unknown valid keys on if. Perhaps you meant to call validates instead of validate. Yeah, I did call validates instead. Save it. Come here and refresh. Actually, just go back. Make sure your URL is there. I mean, step one. Don't validates microchip. Provided the regular expression is using multi-line anchors, which may present security. Did you mean A to Z or forgot to add multi-line true? I did put multi-line as true. I did put multi-line as true. With I don't know. I don't know why. I have no idea. Right now I'm lost. I just don't. I have no idea. So validates microchip format with multi-line true. What's your problem? What's your problem? And I'm just checking here. Plus, I don't know. I honestly don't know. What's the matter? Whatever. I'm just gonna Command Z this and then back to here. I don't know what the problem here is. I don't know what the problem is. I have no idea why this is happening right now. Anyways, you saw what I did. I just added this the way they wanted it. It doesn't make any sense. It's the same thing what I did, but whatever. Come back here, refresh this. So if I was to cut all this and save it, it's gonna save. What the? Undefined method. Did you mean validate step 1, validate step 3, validate step? Undefined method validate step. What's wrong with validate step in the controller? So we got validate step. What's wrong with the step that's in the controller? It's perfectly fine. So validate step equals. Oh, I see. It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be equals to. Sorry. Validate equals to. Yeah. Okay. Save it. Come back here and then make sure you click back to make sure you're in the edit step 1 and enter. Refresh the page. And I'm gonna remove all this and it should save it. Save and continue. Oh my God, undefined method. Oh, validates. Did you mean validate step? Yeah, that's what I meant. Because what is in the attribute accessor? Validates, right. I guess paste validates step. Okay, 3, 1. 3. We're actually doing it a number 1 and a number 3. Number 3 we haven't worked on it yet, but we're doing it. Refresh. No, not refresh. Sorry. Go back and then refresh. Now please work this time. I just want to get this over with. Save and continue. Why am I doing this to myself? I don't know why am I doing this. I have no idea. I don't know why this should be. That. Did you mean validates step? Yes, that's what I meant. Validate. Didn't I do that already in the controller? I guess I didn't save it. Command S, save. I didn't save it. Save and continue. You gotta be kidding me. 50. This is right. I'm doing it right. It's just that it's just not saving. File save. I'm gonna just stop the server here. Control C, Rails S. This is unbelievable. I saved it. It's just not saving. Visual Studio or my computer is just lagging or something like that. And it's because I'm doing like Command S, and this is terrible. It's just unbelievable. You better not give me that error. Save and continue. It should save it now. So it's not saving it, but that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. So we're number 50. Validate step is not there. Okay. So if I was to just do this, and save it, it's still gonna give me. It's not gonna update. Okay. So this validate step is correct. And of course down here also, do you see the hash here, all these hashes, and these are the transport costs. It's amazing, right? You can see everything here. Anyways, save it, refresh, not refresh, go back and then refresh twice. Command R, just keep refreshing it. And if I was to remove all this and save and continue, this is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. Where is this? This has ruined my whole tutorial now. This ruined my whole entire tutorial. In step 1, validates step. Okay, go to the pet.rb. Anyways, I just pasted it inside pet.rb. It's definitely and I'm gonna paste it here. Paste, 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 save it, and then just come here and then refresh. This is just me just not getting enough sleep, and I'm about to like throw the laptop over the balcony. And it's working. It's just like you saw, I was just like a little baby right now, getting angry. So of course, microchip is too short. You see, microchip is too short. But the problem is that microchip is 10 is the minimum characters. But the problem here with a microchip is we're supposed to allow blank true. This should work, but I don't know why that this is. If I do this, it's gonna work now. Use the lambda, but save and continue. See, microchip is too short. So if I left it like that, save and continue, that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. So this multi-line true, this is full. This should be like that. It's just perfectly fine. I don't need to use that syntax. Allow multi-line true, allow blank true, and this should be on top. I think it's probably more important. I'm gonna put a comma, save it, and so if I came here now and I removed it, microchip is too short. Okay, so this allow blank, we can okay. So for now, I'm going to just leave it as I left it. This allow blank, come back to Rails guides. Allow blank, allow nil. So allow blank option similar to allow nil option. This option will validate pass if the attribute's value is blank, like nil, or an empty string, for example, validates. Okay, the length. Okay, I get it. I get it. So you gotta put it here, right here, like that. Okay, so that, save it. Oh no, refresh. So if we remove the whole entire thing here and we save and continue, it's gonna work. See, saved successfully. But it didn't. Why did it take me to dashboard? So it looks like after save in the controller, it redirected if the step is less than 4. So we should say if the step is less than 5. Keep in the and then it took me to the dashboard path. So I'm just gonna put 5 now. I'm so tired. All right, so come back here and we're in step 1. Okay, now microchip, there's no microchip number, but if I put like $, patches and whatever, and I click save and continue, look, microchip can only contain letters and numbers. Now if I was to put like a bunch of numbers and I click save and continue, it's gonna work. Now if I put a bunch of numbers with like some weird character or something, and I save and continue, it's not gonna work. So that's amazing. So you're gonna define what's your microchip number. So I'm gonna say that's that. Okay, so pet address 1 Richmond Street, 1 Richmond Street, 1 Street Richmond Street East or West, Toronto. That's fine. So the address doesn't actually have to be there, but we can say require address. So now the pet photos, I'm going to save and continue. Guys, I want to get to the next point here. Why is it step 5? What happened? If step, let's put this 4. Something happened here. Actually, this and return, remove that. We don't need that. Save that. Come back to step 1. This shouldn't happen. Save and continue. Why is this happening? If beta update notice save successfully, redirect to request refer, error full messages. If step is less than 4, redirect to edit pet path, add step +1. Else, save it. There's a problem here. This shouldn't be a problem. We never had any problems. How come now we have a problem? Did we remove something? Redirect edit pet path. So I'm just gonna do a command Z. You don't have to do what I'm doing right now. I'm just gonna do a command Z to see what I did wrong. And return. So let me just remove this. I don't think I. So this was my mistake earlier. Okay. Okay. So I'm just gonna take this out. Save it. So save it. I'm just gonna come back here and check what happened. So save and continue. That's step 2. So it seems to be working. So if I was to uncomment this, so validates step equals to 1. So if I refresh now, and this should validate step 1. Perfect. Okay. And then it runs step 2, and then step 3. I'm gonna leave step 3 but I should have add pet validates step 3. and because step 3 is going to be media, right? So I don't know what I did wrong, but this is working. It's fine. Step 3 is going to be media, which is going to be this one. Okay. So come to the pet controller. We have add validate step 3, and then come back to pet.rb. And what we want to do is we want to do the same thing with options. Do copy this and put here. It's going to be step 3. Step 2 we're going to leave alone, but we're going to have it there. And we want to do the pet media. I think that's really important. So just put like x dot validates step 3. No, no, that we already did this there. So x dot validates. I think it's the pet photos. You can see it in the controller down here. It's pet photos, right? Actually, no, it's in the in the table, in the pets table through active storage. So so we have the pet photos. We want to validate the pet photos, right? And make sure that they are present. Presence. We can do this later with JavaScript to make sure that we add more than 2 photos, okay? So presence, but we want to protect the database now, make sure everything is in the back, and then presence true, okay? So save it. So this is going to run validate step 3, if it's equal to 3. No, self.3, I mean. That's what it's going to be equals to, okay? So save that. Come back to the pets controller, go to if it's step 3, validate 3, save it. So here I'm going to put something real. I'm going to say local within Phuket description, local transportation within Phuket Island by car. And then in pet delivery time, it's going to be within 5 business days, 5 days, whatever. The cost is going to be, I don't know, $50 for gas. Okay, so save and continue. Perfect, save successfully. Now, if I save and continue, it's going to give me an error. Oh, it didn't. See, we're supposed to run here pet validate step 3, save this pet.rb with options if validates step 3. Save it. Come on, this should be. Anyways, I don't know why pet photos is not being validated, because x dot validates pet photos. Presence. Am I spelling it wrong? Anyway, but you guys get the idea. Now you understand how this works, okay? So if I save and continue this, there should be an error that tells me, we can't continue the way we're going because, well, we can put it in the controller. We did in the controller, we can. But we need to validate this. Okay, guys. I hope you really enjoyed it. On the next part, it's gonna be here's gonna be some YouTube URL. We're gonna add photos. Actually, we can just. I believe it's here. Okay, so these are the pet photos, right? And I can add one more. I can put Thea. Oops. There. So I can, put the YouTube URL and then save and continue. There, saved successfully. Now this part here, we need to allow on publish. We need to target this button that you're gonna turn this active to true, because there is an active class and there is an active one that we added here. Is active, has only one price, is paid. Active, there it is, active. Here it's false. Okay, so we need to show that if it's active already, just say something else. Your pet is already published. If not, the minute you click on this, the button needs to change it to true. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? So that's going to be on the next step. And we need to do in the controller or in a helper, we need to find what are the criteria. The criteria is like step one. It's got three at least three images. And step two, that everything is spelled out. And do not put with JavaScript here. Trust me, you don't want to say required. It's not gonna work. Okay. And then in step one, we need to make sure all this stuff is done. Okay. So see you guys in part 27. Thank you so much for supporting me. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you for sharing this video. Thank you for being there for me and for working with me, learning with me. And I just want to say I'm always learning. I'm like, going through online, through other tutorials, through many books, Rails, like Rails recipes, Ruby on Rails guides, all kinds of books. I'm reading all the time and I'm learning, I'm growing. I just want to let you know, thank you so much for your support. But please do like and subscribe because that's really important to me, because when I see that there's likes and subscriptions, I can move on forward, especially when I move on with React later next. But I just want to finish this, guys, okay? And sorry, it's a long video. I'm not editing this. I'm just doing it on the fly. So thanks again, and I'll see you in part 27. Okay, bye-bye.